Hi everyone, it's Christy from Green Eyed Tarot, and today I'm here to film a VR to Simon at the Hermit's Cave for his hashtag All About Tarot 2022. He created this tag a few days ago, and it's wonderful. It's fabulous. I will definitely link his channel and the original video in the description box below. If you don't know the Hermit's Cave, you definitely need to check it out. If you love tarot, it's a wonderful video. Simon has contributed so much to this tarot YouTube community. His videos are so informative and so real and so conversational. He just has a wonderful spirit, and I can tell you his videos are pretty much what got me through quarantine here in New York when COVID got really bad. That's when I discovered his channel, and it was just a wonderful sort of way to connect with people in the tarot community and his lives. He did quarantine streams, which were just live fun, chats about tarot, and just there were so many people from the online tarot community on, and it was just, it was just an important part of quarantine for me, and when those days of uncertainty, and especially here in New York when it got particularly bad. His channel was just amazing and such a wonderful outlet, and you definitely need to check it out if you don't know who Simon is. Definitely binge watch his videos. There's a ton of content on his channel. There are 13 prompts in this tag, so I'm gonna get started right away because I will talk and talk and talk, and this video will be hours long. Okay, so prompt number 1 is your first deck and how you encountered it. So my first deck is in this box. This is the actual deck. I have a backup copy that I actually use. I don't use this one. I keep this in the box because I do not want to destroy it, because it is my first tarot deck, and I believe it's in order. I put it back in order. This is the original Weight Tarot. Very familiar deck. It has like the blue stars background. So this is your traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, deck. I feel like we all know these images and love them, but this is the original Weight. I absolutely love this deck. This is US Games. I believe it has the very annoying US Games logo on it, and it's the 1990 US Games. I probably acquired this in 1993. I was 16 years old. I was at Barnes & Noble, and I purchased this deck and a copy of the Pictorial Key to the Tarot, which is a very old book about tarot, which I believe I still have on my shelf. But yeah, I think we all know this. Like I said, we all know this deck. Very familiar. I love the color in this, the colorations in this deck. When I want to go back to basics, I definitely go back to this deck. Like I said, this is the original version that I had. My first deck, you can see it's like a little bit gross around the edges. It's definitely like dirty. I'm pretty sure the box is like stained it all different colors, but this is the first tarot deck. Like I said, 1993, 16 years old. And I had heard about tarot, but I really didn't know much about it at all. I had just started getting into sort of my witchy Wicca Silver Ravenwolf period of my life. So 1993, 16, you can do the math on how long ago that was, and how old I actually am right now. But the original Weight Tarot, I love it. It will always have a special place in my heart. That's why I keep it in this special box. And I have a backup copy that I bought at Barnes & Noble as well. And that's the one I actually use. Like I said, when I want to get back to basics, this is one of the only Rider-Waite-Smith decks I own. I have the Centennial Edition, and I believe I have the Borderless Edition, and those are the only traditional Rider-Waite-Smith decks that I have. But this one definitely holds a special place in my heart. It's how I learned tarot. I remember getting it home and spreading it all out on my bedroom floor, and just like putting music on, and I think I was like just getting into my like Lorena McKennitt phase too feel like we've all had that phase. I've never left that phase. I like listen to her literally all the time. But yeah, Lorena McKenna, still listen to her. But yeah, I spread it all out and just spread them all out, like, and just sort of like took it all in, and you know, kind of like which cards did I really like. So the strength card was always like my favorite card, like when I laid them all out. It still is. And so yeah, so I definitely like, you know, went through each card, and then like, you know, I definitely got a notebook, which I still have, and used that pictorial key to the tarot and made my notes. And so yeah, so that was my first deck. I love it. You know, will always hold a special place in my heart. So the second prompt is your last deck. So I guess your newest deck, not your last deck. We all know that's not going to be my last deck, let's be honest, but the newest deck and how my tastes have changed. So my newest deck is the Black Violet Tarot, the Cherry Blossom editions, and I did a first impressions unboxing video actually for this deck. It is you know, my newest in my collection. Let's just talk about the inside of the box, please. Let's just talk about that. So this is still in order because it is still brand new to me, and I am like kind of going through each card one at a time. But yeah, so this is like as different as it can possibly get from the Rider-Waite-Smith, traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. It's very different, as we can see. It's a limited color palette deck, which I never thought I would like. So my tastes have definitely changed in that respect, in that I am actually, you know, looking at and interested in monochromatic decks now. But in my impressions video, my unboxing video, this, you know, to me, it has a very witchy feel. Obviously, that part of my life has deepened and changed over the years as well. So my witchcraft practice, it has waned, it has waxed, it has gone away and come back in so many different forms. But this deck to me has a very, obviously, feminine feel. It has a very witchy feel. I have a goddess-centered practice. It's something I do talk about a little bit in my videos. You know, I definitely work with deities. So yeah, so this deck, you know, gives me those witchy vibes, but it's monochromatic. Like I said, very different. And like I said, my tarot practice has evolved with my spiritual practice. To me, they're interconnected. I know a lot of people who you know, use tarot very differently, and that's, you know, to each his own. But my tarot practice is very much intertwined with my spiritual practice. So I find that the decks that I'm gravitating towards are more connected to that part of my spiritual practice. And they align with, you know, they align more with the feminine, you know, sort of goddess-centered, you know, decks, the divine feminine, because that's the work that I do. And that's, you know, the center of my practice. So I do lean heavily towards those decks. It doesn't mean I shy away from decks that have masculine energy or feature male presenting people, you know, not at all. You know, but there's definitely a place, you know, in my practice that is very center, and that is divine feminine. So this deck to me, the creator's story, you know, around this deck and how she created it, you know, is Heidi Phelps is the creator of this deck. And it's just a very poignant story. You should definitely like look it up and just kind of read about how she created this deck, and the time of her life, and kind of what she was going through at the time. You know, so it's definitely very special. But my tastes have definitely changed. I definitely am moving towards more abstract decks, more curated art decks, which I never thought that I would be gravitating towards. Oddly enough, I just never did, and now I find myself kind of seeking them out and being really interested in those types of decks. Like an example is this Noisy Museum Tarot, which I really should do a walkthrough of this deck, because this deck is like amazing. Yeah, it's a curated art deck. It's by LA Green Witch. She goes by LA Green Witch on Instagram. And so this is sort of like that second part of the prompt, like how have your tastes changed? So, you know, we've definitely gone from, you know, very colorful, very, very RWS clone, which I still love those decks, but I am leaning more towards abstract, you know, curated art decks. I've always sort of been interested in art, and I've always been a fan of museums and going to museums, and we live not far from the Met, which is like one of the most beautiful places, one of my favorite places in the entire world. So I feel like I'm being drawn to these decks more. Like I have the Lonely Dreamer Tarot, which is based on an artist's body of work. And is very abstract, is very not traditional, very non-RWS, like, as far as we can get away from the RWS in some ways. But, I just love it. John William Waterhouse, one of my favorite artists. So, I see myself, the Pre-Raphaelite, although I rehomed the Pre-Raphaelite tarot because I didn't like it. I just didn't connect with it at all. But the actual art, John William Waterhouse's actual art, is some of my favorite ever. But this deck is really, really interesting. She's added her own elements to it, so it's not just the artwork. She sort of zoomed in on some of the art, just kind of taken like pieces, to kind of coincide with the meanings on the cards. But it's just fun. And like I said, I need to do a walkthrough of this deck, definitely. She has an online guidebook which reads like a museum map, which is kind of cool, like the map of the museum. So yeah, and she has links to all the original artwork. So great. I feel like it's going to be like a great deep dive deck. You just have to like dedicate the time to it, but it's really cool. I like it. This is the Noisy Museum Tarot, but definitely how my tastes have changed is definitely exhibited by a deck like this. More curated art, definitely not RWS tone in any way. A little abstract, a little quirky. But I do love these types of deck now, and I'm being drawn to them now. So that's pretty cool in terms of how have my tastes changed. So prompt number 3, why tarot? I kind of combined with prompt number 8 with how do you use tarot, because to me it's almost a very similar question, and I think the why tarot and the how do I use it kind of go hand in hand. So I think for me the why of tarot, I really tap into the archetypal energy that's represented in the cards. So I do sort of I studied psychology and counseling. I have a bachelor's degree in counseling. So I do see the tarot as somewhat of a therapeutic tool. Do I think it should replace therapy? No. Do I think that you should use tarot instead of seeing a medical professional or a mental health professional? No. In no way, shape, or form. But I do see it as a way to explore those archetypes and the themes and the dynamics of those archetypes and how they interact together, and how someone can embody all of those archetypes throughout the course and arc of their life and their journey. So I do see it as a therapeutic tool, and I do use it for introspection and guidance. I don't use it for divination. It's never been something where I'm asking it very specific questions and expect to get answers about my future. It's definitely more of a guidance tool, definitely, the shadow work aspect of it, which I understand there's many like sort of definitions and layers to shadow work. But when I mean shadow work, I just mean looking inside ourselves. And I feel like the tarot can help us look into those deepest parts of ourselves, things that we do not want to admit, things that we can't accept, things that are hard for us to accept about ourselves and about our actions and our responsibilities, and taking responsibility for our decisions and things like that. And I feel like tarot is a wonderful tool for turning inward. And I'm not saying, I don't read professionally. I don't think I ever will, maybe someday. I do read for like family and friends and things like that. And I do kind of like doing readings for the collective just for myself. I don't really share that because I feel like there's a huge responsibility when you do tarot for the collective. So I feel like, I don't want to really, read for, the entire universe, but just about what's going on in the world. And I sometimes, can pull cards to kind of see, and I see those like archetypes and things, and I can relate them to things going on in the world and like things I hear on the news, and I definitely can see, you know, those archetypes in the cards. So it's really an archetypal journey for me. It's really that sort of psychological aspect, that therapeutic aspect, you know, and I definitely use tarot for guidance and not, you know, not divination. So that was 2 prompts combined. Prompt number 4 is tarot pet peeves. I feel like I literally have exhausted talking about the pregnant empress, and I feel like everybody has kind of mentioned this in some way, shape, or form, in that they're sort of like either over it or they don't mind it or whatever. I don't mind it. It's not like it really like strikes like a horrible chord with me, or like I get like, you know, really turned off by it, but it's kind of overdone. You know, I do like seeing the empress represented as something other than, you know, being pregnant and giving physical birth to a child, or like with a child. Because I see the empress in so many different ways, not just, you know, definitely that mothering, you know, energy, but more like, you know, Mother Earth and like that grounding and that earthy energy. So I like to see the empress more, you know, depicted in just being that grounding and earthy energy, or, you know, an animal energy that sort of represents that same sort of like Mother Earth maternal, you know, type of energy, but without being pregnant. So that one, also the 3 of Swords, you know, the 3 swords piercing a heart. It's like, I always want to see the 3 of Swords in a deck, because I'm always like, I wonder if they didn't do a heart pierced by 3 swords, or a heart pierced by 3 arrows, or a heart pierced by something else. So I do like to see sort of like them, you know, depicted in a different way, you know, like a unique way. That's really, you know, like I really do look. I feel like it's a little bit lazy when we're just taking the RWS imagery and just regurgitating it and like literally just changing the figures. Like, I love RWS clones. I read RWS, it, you know, but I think one of those tastes changing is like looking for new and unique and different ways that these traditional images are being interpreted and reworked. So I definitely, you know, would like to see, it's a pet peeve when I just see like the same thing regurgitated, or, you know, a heart pierced with some sort of implements. You know, I feel like there's other ways we can demonstrate heartbreak for sure. You know, we know heartbreak is such a actual, not a literal thing. Our heart isn't literally being pierced with swords. So there's ways to kind of convey that. There's so many different ways to convey that, you know, in imagery and in art and things like that. So the other thing is gatekeeping within the tarot community, or just anyone who is sort of gatekeeping with tarot. Like, one of the things that kind of like irks me a little is that you have to study tarot to learn tarot. And while there is a huge aspect of study involved with tarot, I don't like the idea that you can't read intuitively right out of the gate. I feel like intuition is a powerful thing, and I feel like there are lots of other ways that you can strengthen your intuition and develop that skill, not just by reading tarot. And I feel like someone who's really tapped into their intuition can pick up cards and just kind of come up with the meanings just by the imagery and their intuition and what they feel about it. I don't think deep study has to be done on the tarot. Some people aren't studiers. Some people just, they're not natural, you know, test takers and studiers, or don't have the time to dedicate a huge amount of study. But that doesn't mean they can't know the tarot, use the tarot, enjoy it, have it be a part of their life, have it be a part of their practice. So I feel like, and also the idea that tarot can't be a hobby. Like, I feel like tarot can be whatever you want it to be. No, you can't radically change the traditional meanings of the tarot. Can you get your own meanings? Can you, you know, develop like your own, you know, thoughts using your intuition? Absolutely. Can you just literally like looking at the cards? Absolutely. Can you literally, you know, just like flipping through them and looking at them and enjoy that part of it? Absolutely. It can be a hobby. For some people, it's not. For some people, it's so much more. But I feel like saying that, well, it can't be a hobby. Like, you're not serious about tarot. Yeah, you know, like some people could be serious about tarot and not use it the same way you do. And that's okay. You can sort of just use tarot however you want. And that's what's right because it's for you and it's how you're using it. Also, just the gatekeeping aspect of like, you can't be Christian, you can't be religious, you know, Catholic, you know, to read tarot. Like, you know, you definitely can be, you can be anything you want and read tarot. You can be, you know what I mean, literally any type of person from any walk of life, from anywhere in the world, from any religious background, from any spiritual background, from any sexual orientation, gender, from any, you know, it doesn't matter who or what you are. It's, you know, if you want to read tarot, you can read tarot. So just sort of that gatekeepy aspect. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I hear and I just sort of click away from that. You know, I'm not going to engage with people and, you know, and argue with people. And I just choose not to consume that type of content, you know, with anyone saying those types of things. I just sort of walk away from it because it's not for me. So prompt number 5 is favorite tarot spread. So yeah, so I mean, I use the 3-card spread a lot. That's, you know, one of those, you know, tarot spreads that I use, you know, quite a bit, you know, with lots of different meanings, not just like the past, present, future, but, you know, like situation, you know, obstacle, challenge, or, you know, obstacle, you know, resolution, and, you know, solution, you know, body, mind, spirit. I mean, just all different types of, you know, designations for those 3 cards. But I don't, you know, I don't do the Celtic cross like very often. That's like, you know, reserved for like very like in-depth readings, like year ahead spread type of things. And even that, I use a specific spread for that. So my favorite tarot spread is one that I'm sure I didn't create, but I did create it for myself. And it's called the week behind spread. So instead of a week ahead spread, I do a week behind spread. So I pick a card for each day. So I grab the closest deck that I have, which is of course the Tarot of the Hidden Realm, because it's like literally always right here because it's my favorite deck. And so, yeah, so I pick a card for each day of the week. And then one for today. So I usually do this, I usually do this on the week, like on the weekends usually. You know, I usually do this on like a Saturday or a Sunday, or I'll do it like on a Friday night if I'm feeling, you know, if I have energy after working all week. And so, yeah, so I usually do, you know, like I said, a card for every day of the week. And I need to zoom out a little bit. I'm not going to be able to fit these guys. Sorry for the camera shake. So yeah, so I do like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So yeah. And like I said, we're not fitting all of this in the frame, but you get the general idea. And then I pick one for that day. And basically the spread ends up becoming like I said, the week behind. And it really is like how my actions and decisions have affected my outcomes, you know, for myself during the week. So, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which Wednesday looks amazing in this week. Let's just say the sun's there. Oh, and the 4 of Wands on a Friday, that looks fun. Death, not so great. Thursday wasn't a great day. But yeah, so that's how I do a week behind. And I just kind of think about each day, and sort of like, oh, okay, so like, yes, I can see why I got this card for this day, or I can think about something I did on that day, you know, or a decision I made, or an action I took, or something I said, or, you know, just how I was feeling, my feelings that day, you know. So it's really like a cumulative look for the whole week. It doesn't have to be like, this is Monday, but maybe this is how I was feeling at the beginning of the week. This is how my week ended, you know. And then, like I say, I pull a card for that day, which will kind of give me the energy that I need to be focusing right then and there. So the present. So yeah, so I call it the week behind spread. And like I said, I use it to kind of inform inform myself on how my actions and decisions and behaviors and feelings and reactions have affected my outcomes, for the week. So I don't always do week behind, sometimes I do a week ahead. It's not like I don't like the week ahead spread, but I kind of like the week behind spread because it's reflective. I use, like, again, tarot for introspection and for reflection. And so doing a week behind spread, kind of gives me the opportunity to do that, to reflect on my week and then set a card for my energy for that day and sort of like get the message and move forward. Okay, so prompt number 6 is your preferred tarot system. No surprise, I've already said it. It's RWS. I use the Rider-Waite-Smith. I always have. I never could do Thoth. I've talked about that too, the Pip situation in Marseille, and it's RWS for me. I just did an entire video on decks that tell a story. It's pretty much how I read cards almost all the time. It's my favorite way to read cards, is narrating it and using a narrative and creating a narrative, creating a cohesive story, out of the cards. So I like very illustrated decks. I'm kind of branching out. Like I said, I'm definitely branching out, but very illustrated decks. The scenes from the RWS, the illustrated minors are important to me. I need that in a deck. I need that to be able to read the way I like to read. And like I said, I love different interpretations of the traditional RWS. I love when, artists and creators, put a different spin on it, but it's still illustrated and I can still get into the cards and find a story and create that story. So RWS, hands down. Rider-Waite-Smith, it's always going to be the system I use. I've tried the other ones and it just doesn't interest me, and I don't get excited about it, and I find it very difficult. Prompt number 7 is tarot ritual. So I guess like anything, that you do, how people say about they sleep with it under their pillow or next to their bed, or they, cleansing decks and things like that. I definitely use crystals. I use crystals anyway. I love crystals. There's literally crystals like all over my space in front of me right now. I wish I could show you, but I feel like it's a mess, and I feel like I would make you sick by actually flipping the camera around. But I use crystals, quartz, clear quartz, and selenite, or those like workhorse crystals, and they're 2 of my favorites. So I have lots of pieces of clear quartz, which are so pretty, and I have selenite like all over my house. I have it in like every single corner of my house, and so I use selenite and clear quartz with my cards a lot. Like I'll have the decks and I lay them on on top. I have blue phantom quartz, which is really cool. I just got 2 pieces probably, I don't know, a couple months ago. This is blue phantom quartz. I have Lemurian quartz, which is very gorgeous. It has like the ridges on it, like you can run your finger up and down. It's supposed to like tap into your like third eye, and like it's a pathway. It's supposed to feel like a stairway to like another world. Lemurian quartz, very cool. So I do have a lot of crystals, and I use crystals quite a bit in my tarot practice. There's another really nice quartz piece, clear quartz, just clear quartz. It's like that do everything crystal that will just amplify whatever your intention is and your energy is, and I love it. So I do use crystals quite a bit. And then I shuffle as a calming method, like relaxation method. I feel like I've spoken to a lot of people like, in the tarot world, and other people who use tarot, like they say like if they're just sitting on the couch, they shuffle. Like there's literally decks like all over my house. Like there's like a stack on the couch, like right next to where I sit, and then there's a stack next to that, and then there's a stack over here, and then there's a stack on my end table next to my bed, and they're just everywhere, I feel like. But I like to shuffle. Like I like to just shuffle, I shuffle, I lay out cards, and then I just like look, and so I always have a deck close by, if that makes sense to anyone. So that's sort of like a tarot ritual for me, is having a deck nearby and just shuffling for relaxation, and shuffle and laying out cards and feeling the cards. I love like that's why I love decks with like different cardstock, and because like they all have like a different tactile sensory experience. So like I just got the 4 Hoxa tarot like not that long ago, and I was like, it's so slippery. Oh my god, it's like I took it out of the deck and it like flew everywhere. It was like amazing, because it's super slippery. And I don't know why I thought that deck was matte cardstock. I like literally had it in my brain that that deck was matte cardstock, and it was so slippery. But it's so funny. It's like that superior smooth make playing cards cardstock. Like it's can be annoying. And it's, the 4 Hoxa is big too, so my little hands, it was like, it goes, but I like the way it fans out, and it like, it's so like smooth and like silky, and like you can fan it out, and it like, so that like, that's a tarot ritual for me, like that tactile sensory experience. Like I like to like fan them out, or just like in my hands, like manipulate them in my hands. I don't know. It's definitely like a relaxation thing for me, a calming thing for me, and I definitely enjoy it. It's a sensory thing for me. So that's sort of like a tarot ritual, I guess. And sometimes I do lay them in the moon, like in the, you know, I put them out under the full moon. I make moon water. I charge my crystals that way. So a lot of times if I want to cleanse a deck, sometimes I'll put it out, you know, under the full moon, and just have it lay in the moonlight, and, you know, kind of like cleanse that energy a little bit, or soak up that energy of the moon. So yeah, so those are some tarot rituals that I engage in, I guess. So the next prompt is your significator card. Like, what is your significator card and why? So I guess my significator card, I mean, I don't guess, I do know. It's Simon at the Hermit's Cave talked about like the Myers-Briggs personality test, and how his significator card relates to that. Like it's basically like the personality type that he comes up, it is assigned to the, I think it was the Page of Cups. So, and that's his significator card. So for me, that's not entirely true, because I have a personality that's like all over the place. But my significator is definitely the Queen of Pentacles. I've always just been drawn to this card, and in every deck, you know, I get, I always like search for the Queen of Pentacles, and I'm usually always connected to the Queen of Pentacles no matter what. So this is obviously my original weight deck, so very traditional, but yeah, the Queen of Pentacles. I am a cardinal earth sign, so it doesn't get any more earthier and grounded than my cardinal earth sign of Capricorn. So my sun sign is Capricorn, but it is, you know, obviously related to the element of earth, which is the Pentacles. And like I said, it's a cardinal. So yeah. So for me, the Queen of Pentacles to me epitomizes like the hearth witch, which is what I consider myself. You know, she's the nurturing, hospitable. Her home is always open. Her home is always warm and cozy and inviting, in a place where, you know, you want to kind of like just sit and stay for a while. And that's sort of the energy I try to bring into my home. I don't have a very big home, but anyone is always welcome. And my partner is always kind of talking about how I make it so, I have this ability to make our home so cozy and warm and inviting. And I just think that that's such a beautiful compliment. I just love that he appreciates that, and he sees it and he senses it, because I do put effort into that, you know, to ensuring that my home is a place of comfort, you know, and that, you know, it's not dirty. And I am a Capricorn, so that means I'm pretty much, you know, I don't like disorder. So there's a fine line between messy and cluttered, and, you know, things that bring me joy, you know, things that bring other people joy, things that are interesting, you know, things that just make my home a nice place to be. So the Queen of Pentacles is the original hearth witch, and she's definitely my significator card. You know, she's nurturing. She has that sort of motherly aspect about her, which is, you know, very interesting, and a big contradiction for me, because I don't have any children of my own, and so, but I work with young children, and I have a job. My muggle job is centered around young children, like birth through 5 years old. So, and the Queen of Pentacles, like they say, you know, good jobs for the Queen of Pentacles are childcare or anything involving young children. So I do work closely with young children. I love children. I'm young at heart. I feel like I'm a child myself. So, but I do identify with that aspect of the Queen of Pentacles. And my personality type, oddly enough, since Simon sort of linked these two things together, is actually the King of Wands. So, which does make sense to me as well. Like I have that personality that, you know, I'm very logical and I tend to take charge and I can be very stubborn. But I'm also nurturing and loving, and I do things out of love. And sometimes I'm harsh because you have to be. I prefer honest. Sometimes I'm honest. Sometimes I'm too honest. Sometimes I forget that people have feelings and they may not appreciate my honesty, but I do it out of love and for wanting what's best for someone, and for, you know, wanting, you know, that person to feel how deserving they are and of love and acceptance and caring, and so sometimes I'm a little bit harsh, but for the most part it's out of love and wanting to nurture and caring and truly caring about people. So I kind of like the King of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, like little dichotomy there, because they're definitely different. You know, the King of Wands is fiery, and I have been told I'm a little bit, you know, I can be a little bit headstrong, and a good leader. So not bossy, a good leader. So yeah, so Significator card, Queen of Pentacles, that's who I identify with. The King of Wands, my personality type says the King of Wands too. So I'll embrace all of it. I don't really use a Significator card when I do readings, but that is my Significator card, I guess, if I was going to have one. Okay, so the next prompt, which is prompt number 10, was, I believe, your most expensive tarot acquisition. This was really tough for me, because I don't tend to spend a lot of money on decks. I just don't. I can't. You know, I have a budget. I'm trying to, like, you know, stay within that budget. You know, so I just don't have like a lot of disposable income to be spending on decks. And a lot of times I find I'm coming to grips with consumerism and consuming and things like that, and I'm still trying to work on figuring out that, because, you know, I feel like I'm bringing in too much, and I need to bring, you know, I need to work with what I have. Again, that's a whole nother video. But yeah, I'm really kind of grappling with consumerism. And there's a channel. It was formerly Empress and Basil. It's now Jess Reads Cards. She's back on YouTube, but she recently posted a video, like her return to YouTube, and she talked a lot about consumerism, and it's something that I'm grappling with, and just in a lot of areas in my life, not just tarot, but I don't tend to spend a lot of money on decks. So this was a really tough one, but I think the most expensive is the Spirit Keepers Tarot. This is the Revelation edition, and I don't think it was like that much money. If I remember, it was probably like around $60, but you know what? With the big book of maps, and like I got like the journal, like the study journal, it's probably my most expensive. Can we just talk about the backs? The backs on this are amazing. And this is one of those decks that scares me. I'm scared of this deck. This is a scary deck. This is intimidating. This is intimidating me. And I've read Holistic Tarot, not cover to cover. Who can read that book cover to cover? It's like thousands and thousands of pages. But I've read enough of it, and it's wonderful, and it's super academic, which I can wrap my brain around because I have like a very academic brain. But this deck scares me. But yeah, so it's probably good that it was probably one of my most expensive purchases, because it frightens me. And I mean, I feel like you should be scared of a deck every once in a while. So I'm going to sink my teeth into this. I am. I need to like get my head ready, and I need to like have the time. Oh, I love this strength card. Look, I told you, the strength card. I always love strength cards. But look at that. A tamed lion. So anyway, yeah. So this deck is amazing. Benabel 1 is amazing. I'm going to devote time to it. I swear I am, but I definitely need to make the time to do that. But I got the big book of maps, which is, again, gigantic. It's gigantic. Again, intimidating. But But yeah, it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful deck. I mean, what else can we say? I'm stoked about having this edition because of the color. I really was not drawn to the other editions, but when she added color, I was like, now you're speaking my language. So yeah, so probably that one. A tie would be Pagan Otherworlds. And then probably like used deck, like secondhand deck. Probably the most expensive secondhand deck that I bought is the Fairy Wicca Tarot, which is definitely out of print. I sort of had been looking for this deck. I mean, I don't know that I'm going to work with it. I just really wanted this deck because of the subject matter. Because I study Celtic myths and legends and folklore, and as part of my spiritual practice, this is a huge part. I just really wanted this deck, and I kept seeing it for, these are the backs, I kept seeing it for like astronomical amounts of money, and I was like, I can't do that. And oddly enough, this is pretty much like a pip deck, but like I said, I wanted it. So I think I paid $50 for this, and it's in almost perfect condition. It has the little book. It's pretty much in perfect condition. So yeah, so this is the Fairy Wicca Tarot. I'm like super excited to have it. I wanted it, and I just didn't know if I was ever gonna get my hands on it. And then a lovely person in our tarot community listed it for sale, and and I'm just so thankful that she didn't, try to price gouge, because I have seen this deck for a lot more than $50. And like I said, this one's in almost perfect, I mean, it is in perfect condition. There's literally nothing wrong with this deck. But it's awesome. Like I said, it is very pippish, but it's definitely one that I wanted, and I have the big Fairy Wicca book that I got off of Thrift Books, that used book site, which I was like, again, so stoked about. It was like the stars aligned. I got this, I got the book. It's like part of my, like I said, it's part of my spiritual practice, but it's really beautiful, and it has, all those Celtic vibes, because that's basically what this deck is based on. Celtic mythology, Celtic folklore. But yeah, I'm super excited. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I paid about $50 for this. And that was shipping included. So again, I couldn't pass it up. But that's probably the most expensive like used deck that I've ever gotten, and I just feel so lucky to have gotten it for that price, because I definitely have seen it listed for like on eBay for a lot more than that. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so the next prompt number 11 is your unicorn deck. So like a deck that's been really hard to acquire, I guess one that you really want. For me, it's the Solara Occulto Tarot. It has like a limited color palette. Again, weird for me, but as soon as I saw images of it, I was like, I need this deck in my life. And then I realized it's out of print, and it was very sad. And then I also realized that the creator only ships to Canada, which is not where I live. So yeah, so Solara Occulto, I'll try to link a little picture somewhere here in this in the video, and I'll link to the creator's website. But Solara Occulto, I think it's like 4 colors, limited 4 color palette. It's really beautiful. It's like Tarot of the Lost Sun. It's really beautiful. It's right up my alley. I really want it. So that's my unicorn deck, and I hope I someday have it. I believe she might be reprinting it. Let's just hope. I heard something about it, and I hope she decides to ship to someplace other than Canada, because I don't live in Canada. So that's it. Solara Occulto. What the next prompt is: what lessons has tarot taught you? What lesson has tarot provided you? And I think this is kind of like the other question, like what do you use it for? But basically, I feel like tarot has taught me that I am the master of my own destiny, that I am the creator of my life. And while we are all start off as the fool, and fools aren't bad, being a fool is not a negative thing when it comes to the tarot and your journey, that I manifest abundance in my life, and I manifest what's going to happen in my life. I have some semblance of control over what happens in my life and my own behavior, my reactions and my decisions and my choices. I am the master of that destiny. And that I can manifest, what I need, and I may use the tarot or different energies or the elements or the earth or deities to help me, or guides, or whatever you want to call it. I may use tools to help me along the way, but in the end, it's what's inside of me that is going to create my life and what I want out of life, and my challenges and things. I can, how I react to those things, that's up to me. And also too, that like I don't read reversals. I feel like every tarot card has that sort of shadow aspect. So yeah, every tarot card has a reverse meaning, but I don't read them. I don't, if they come out, upside down, it doesn't mean that's what, it's reversed. I just feel like there's a shadow meaning in every single card. So you kind of have to dig deep and look at the other cards around it, because you may be looking into the shadows, and so tarot has taught me that sometimes it's not what the cards are saying, but what they're not saying, if that makes any sense. Like they're trying, it's like almost like, there's messages they're trying to get you, and you really got to look, because some of it's hidden, and some of it will only make sense to you, and what you're going through at the time. So the lesson is that, that it's a tool and it can be used, for so many things, but it's definitely not going to make decisions for you, and it's not going to decide, make choices and tell you what to do and give you the answers all the time. They're going to help you and it's going to guide you, but it's not, you're the master of your own destiny. And that's what tarot has taught me. And the final prompt, I think it's the final prompt, let me look at my notes, is tarot dinner party. So this is sort of like fun, like if you were having a tarot dinner party, who would you have 2 people that you can invite and then a guest of honor. So this was like really tough, because I feel like I'd love to have a tarot dinner party with literally everybody I watch on YouTube and everyone I interact with on Instagram and all these people from all over the world that I'm never probably going to get to meet. I want to have a huge dinner party with all of you, because I don't really have anyone in my life that reads tarot. My partner's super supportive. He wants to learn about it. I pull them out and I teach him and I tell him what different things mean. And he's always super excited for me when I get a new deck, which is so sweet, and it's just wonderful. But I don't really have any people in my life that read tarot. They're supportive. They'll ask questions, but they're, they don't really understand it. So, thinking about a tarot dinner party. So for where I am right now, let's just say, I feel like you can invite like Pamela Coleman Smith. That would be awesome. Or, Rachel Pollack. Oh my God. Like Benabel Wen. Like I want to pick your brain on all of your tarot knowledge. But I feel like those are, but I feel like where I'm at right now and like the work I've been doing and how I've been using tarot, I feel like I definitely would want the creators of this wonderful deck to come to my tarot dinner party. So Julia Jeffrey, who's the artist, she is a Scottish artist. I absolutely adore her art. I absolutely adore her artwork. I have her calendar hanging right in front of my face. I'm looking at it right now. It's gorgeous. She's working on a new tarot deck, the Witch Sister Tarot, which I've been following since she started this journey. And she's has 72 cards finished. So man, we're getting there. I am so excited. But yes, the artist Julia Jeffrey, Barbara Moore wrote the guidebook. Everyone is familiar, I believe, with Barbara Moore. I'm sure everyone has at least one Barbara Moore deck. And some people love it. Some people love her deck. Some people, there's decks that she's done that I don't connect with at all. But this one, this guidebook, this journey into the hidden realm, it just reads like a story. And I love stories and I love reading tarot this way. And it's just beautifully written, and it just has the most beautiful lyrical writing, in it, and so descriptive in the way, she describes Julia's art. And it's just, I would love to get them together and just talk to them about, about the art, and talk to Julia about, her inspiration for art. She does a lot of, it's very witchy, it's very fae, it's very relative to where she lives geographically in the world. And my dream is to go to Scotland. That is like top of my list. I'm going to make it happen because I'm the master of my own destiny and I manifest what I want. So I'm going to manifest myself a trip to Scotland, hopefully. But yeah, I definitely would have them, at the dinner party and just want to talk to them about this deck. I want to like bring this deck out and just lay it all out and just look at these beautiful images and just get lost in these cards, which I do anyway, on a daily basis. And, just spend time with them in this deck and just thank them profusely for just how much I enjoy this. It's not for everyone, I know. And honestly, when I first got it, I loved it, but I didn't like really connect to it until, a few years after I had it. And I just love it so much. And I read that guidebook cover to cover when I first got it. And it was like just reading a book of fiction. I've read it a few times and I just absolutely adore it. And I would want to have a conversation about the imagery and just that writing in the guidebook and just discuss that. And then my guest of honor at this, Tarot of the Hidden Realm little party would probably be Kelly Fitzgerald from The Truth in Story. Again, she has a channel, The Truth in Story. If you're not familiar with it, please go and check it out. I don't know how you're not familiar with it. If you're in this tarot community, if you consume tarot content in any way, shape, or form, she just has the most wonderful channel. She's the first tarot YouTuber that I ever encountered, and I just sort of like literally dove into all of her videos. She's down to earth. She's so funny and just so real, but she's so smart and so intelligent and has so much knowledge. And she's a writer and an artist, and she loves stories. And again, I just keep saying stories, like keep using that, but it's so funny, story with a capital S. She calls it story with a capital S. And she offers readings and workshops and classes. And if you just have an opportunity ever to take a class with her, it will be such an enriching thing for your life and your practice. But she loves myths and folklore and stories, and she has a love of literature, and she feels like a kindred spirit to me. So often we watch tarot YouTubers and we watch, tarot content, and we feel like, oh my God, I would get along with her so well. Or that's why we watch, because we're like, oh, I like you. You're, like I could definitely see sitting down and hanging out with you and having a dinner party. And, and I just love her energy. And she just, like I said, she just has such a sweet way about her, but she kind of like doesn't shy away from telling it like it is. And she gives her honest opinions on decks and the themes in decks and the artwork and the meanings, and I just value her opinion. She's usually the first one, like if I'm thinking of getting a deck, I'm like, did Kelly do a walkthrough of this? Let me go back and look. So I definitely would want her as the guest of honor. And we could talk Tarot of the Hidden Realm, we could talk about whatever she wants, we could make up stories, we could talk about story as a way for us to, learn lessons in life and the story with a capital S of our life. I connect with her videos and her and her ideas so much. And so Kelly from The Truth in Story is invited to my tarot dinner party, the imaginary tarot dinner party that I'm having. She will be the guest of honor. Barbara Moore, Julia Jeffrey, Tarot of the Hidden Realm. It'll just be a Tarot of the Hidden Realm love fest and a Truth in Story love fest. And yeah, that would be my tarot dinner party at this moment. That's definitely sounds like a fun evening. So that's it. That's all the tags. So this was really fun. It got me really thinking. Again, Simon just contributed to this community so much, and this is great. Another great tag. I can't wait to watch, everyone else's videos. Hopefully they're not as long as mine, but I ramble and ramble and ramble. So I hope you enjoyed it. I cannot wait to see, what everyone does. I hope you do it. Please comment below if you agree or disagree with anything I've said, because you can disagree with me. It's all good. I love lively discussion. I love learning new things. I love when people comment on these videos and teach me something. It's great. So I hope to see you all out in that tarot YouTube world very soon. Please, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I love connecting with people on Instagram. I'm Green-Eyed Tarot 77 on Instagram. I would love to connect with you there. I would love to, to follow you back, because like I love using Instagram as a way to connect with people who love tarot like I do, and who are like-minded like me, and people who I can learn from. If you like this video or any of my other ones, please subscribe. I'm at 194 subscribers. I'm so close to 200, and when I get to 200, I'm gonna do a giveaway, because I have so many decks that I've decluttered, and I just want to give them to someone who's going to love them and use them. So we're gonna do a giveaway, 200 subscribers. So please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I will see you very soon.